What's up, guys, and welcome to our Final Fantasy XIV podcast video where we're going over the live letter number 8 that just came out recently. And here with me we got Typhara, which is known as Muffinites from YouTube. Say what's up.
What's up?
And
What's
we
up,
also
guys?
got Galuizu, who is my Link Shell leader for Grade 6, which is now being formed into Dark Matter as a free company. So what's up, Galu?
I don't know what I'm doing here.
Oh, you. Such a tease. Anyway, we're talking about basically the walkthrough of what we experienced, actually earlier this morning, I would like to say. It's kind of hard to believe.
Yeah.
Of the live letter. So I don't know about you guys, I watched it on Twitch, so I got like the dual box going with Reinhardt doing live translations on the right hand side and the actual live stream itself on Twitch on the left hand side. And by the way, before we get into this, major shout out to Reinhardt for doing those live translations. Friggin' amazing! Like, I'm sure everyone checked it out. Great stuff. Major props to Reinhardt. So be sure to thank him if you get to talk to him or leave him a message or something. There was 20,000, I think, viewers on Twitch alone. I don't know how many were on YouTube, but there were quite a bit on the numbers showing up. So pretty amazing stuff.
Yo, come on, man! It's Final Fantasy XIV. That's what we've been waiting on.
That's right. Alright, so before we get into the opening that we got to see, we're just going to go over a basic little reminder that we saw from Leone on the beta forums about the pre-order page for pre-order codes. I've been getting a lot of messages asking about this recently, and I figure I'd chime in with an update on how this works. So, he says, "Greetings. The pre-order codes that are being distributed for North America and Europe include instructions that they will be redeemed via a special website." So he links the North American and European websites to jump onto. And he says, "This special site is not live for users to redeem the codes received from the retailer. Once the code redemption for this site is live, scheduled for August 20th, 2013, you'll be able to enter the code and receive that you received that looks like this, which I'm displaying on screen right now in the video. You'll have a 18-digit long code, which I believe it is, if I'm not mistaken." And he says they will give you all the instructions required for early access registration. And he basically says, in short, hang tight, guys, and don't panic. So I'll have the link for that and the guide in the info box for anyone interested. So don't worry about your pre-order codes. It's coming on the 20th. So look forward to that. And watch your emails. Okay, so now that little thing's out of the way, I want to get over to the main course, which is the live letter. We started off in the live stream with Yoshi P doing fishing. So the first thing he actually showed while he was fishing was, if I can bring up my images here, it showed him standing in, I think it was the Black Shroud. What is it? Falgord Float was the name of the area that he was in. He was standing next to a GM Lalafell. And he was showing off like the basic UI that you can expect from the Fisher. So he showed off some of the abilities, and he showed off this interesting little menu that it has specific for the Fisher itself. He has a bait and lure menu, and he also goes into the menu again. He pulls up a fishing log, which looks very different to the gathering logs for Miner and Botanist. So you can see here he has like a little mini map. He has all these little tabs and stuff he clicks through, so it probably shows you the various locations that you can fish for specific types of fish in the area and in the realm itself for all the different zones. And then he pulls up another thing, which is the fishing guide. So this, I'm not too sure exactly how this works, but I'm guessing it shows all the fish that are in the game. It marks which ones you've caught, and then it has like a silhouette for the ones you haven't caught yet. And it's basically a guide for kind of like a trophy box or something, I would say. And he also shows off this other interesting menu showing where you caught the fish and your record. So it's like a record keeper for like your biggest fish you caught, what area you caught it in, what type of fish it was. So it's really interesting, a nice little mini game. And it definitely expands upon what Fisher used to be in 1.0. So with that basic brief introduction to the opening segment of Fisher in the live letter, why don't you guys talk about like what you thought about it? Any interesting points you'd like to make about the fishing job?
Well, they said that fishing was gonna be something like a mini game, but he was actually using gear and skills for the fishing class.
Yeah, that is an interesting point right there.
My thing is everybody loves fishing.
That's true. Well, I can't say 1.0 fishing was very enjoyable, but this one definitely looks like a step in the right direction. I can say that much.
1.0 fishing was a mind wreck.
Oh man, don't even get me started on that one. Gal, you remember that, right? You done fishing, right? Or
I did.
Jesus. All right, well, let's not get into that. I don't want to give people horror stories. So, any other finishing, closing thoughts on the Fisher they showed off? The armor looks awesome. I'll definitely say that.
Yeah, I wonder how the record works. If it's gonna be between servers or just in your server, or maybe just your personal record.
I think it's a personal record. I don't know if they have the necessary system for like a world-class leaderboards or something. Maybe like a local leaderboards. That would be kind of interesting. Like who has the biggest fish they caught on the server or something. Another really neat thing would be is if you get to keep your fish, if you can mount it on the wall in your house, like for your free company. So if you catch like a giant shark or a marlin, you can plaque it on your wall, which would be pretty neat. So I don't know if they have plans for that, but it definitely seems like they're hinting towards it. So we'll have to wait and see what they have in store with that company with the free company housing system.
Well, they something was brought up on the forums during the Letter Live.
Oh, really?
They were talking about you know how you get minions and like pets or the special things from the pre-order.
Yeah.
You can. They were talking about having them run around your house or something like that when you're there, or something like that.
Huh.
What's up, guys?
Hey, welcome, Neo. What's going on? We're joined by Neoplasm.
Diablo.
So we got Neoplasm that just entered the fray in our podcast going on here. So say what's up,
hello.
Neo.
Hello. I'm just coming by and saying hello, see what you guys doing.
So Neo, did you checked out the live stream, right?
Yeah, I did, but I had to go to work, so I didn't. I only saw probably 60% of it.
Oh, well, we're going over the whole thing, so just tune in and chime in with any thoughts that you got. So it'd be interesting for people to hear. We're just talking about the fishing system, basically. We were going over some of the simple things that they showed up with the UI and some thoughts that we might have for future possible implementations and whatnot. So, did you get to see any of that, or?
No, unfortunately not. Sorry.
That's alright. Well, anyway, something you might have heard of, I'm not quite sure, but open beta, August 17th through the 19th.
Yeah.
And, get this, if you are a Phase 3 player of beta, you get to start on the 16th of August. So it's August 16th through the 19th. Isn't that correct? Or
Yeah,
I think correct.
Phase 3 started 16.
Right. So 16th through the 19th. There's definitely some people that are very unhappy about that because they thought it was going to be like a week long and they're feeling really angry. And I think some people watching this right now are going to be feeling the same way because I read through a couple comments and people are just like, well, I'm sure you've probably seen some of them already, but I didn't get to look through too many of them. So yeah, a lot of people thought it was going to be on the 9th of this weekend. So apparently it got pushed back to next weekend, which is interesting. They're pushing it very close to launch date, so it's gonna be interesting to see how this is gonna turn out. The next thing that they showed off right after that was early access period, which is August 24th through the 26th. So that is right up there, coming along right next to launch. I actually myself previously thought this was gonna be a week long because I know my brain's kind of foggy, but I think the original 14's early access was a week long, wasn't it? Or am I just misremembering things? Does anyone remember that far back?
It was so long ago.
I think it was a week
I
long.
For 1.0, it was about a week. Correct.
Yeah, so I figured the A Realm Reborn's was going to be a week as well, and I guess I just jumped the gun a bit. But it is 24th through the 26th. Surprised a lot of people, but...
Yeah, it was disappointing to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And the servers are not going down, so it's gonna stay up till launch.
Another thing is, if you are a Legacy member, you also get early access, along with the people that pre-ordered the game. So Legacy members and early access people get, Legacy people and pre-order people get early access, but 1.0 standard users do not, unfortunately. So that's some bad news there for those unfortunate players. But if you pre-order a new copy of the game for the collector's edition or a PS3 copy, you get in. So there is that. The next thing we're going to segue into is when Yoshi P actually switched to his Arcanist in front of the Gates of Judgment leading to Ishgard. So I'll let you guys take over this part and talk a little bit about this, what you guys thought. Whoever wants to start first.
Well, it's not about Arcanist, but Scholar and Summoner. What? I have something to say.
So
the set points are gonna be shared between the three, and you have to reset the stats every time you want to play Scholar, because Scholar is Mind and Summoner is Intelligence.
Yeah, they talked about that, and Yoshi did say that they were gonna you can switch allocate your points, but he said it wasn't gonna be an easy task to do.
Yeah, I wonder what he meant by that, because I saw someone on Reddit actually, and not only Reddit but on the forums as well, they posted a contradiction that they noticed of sorts, at least what they claimed. And they said that previously he said that you, I think he said something, I don't have the quote up, maybe one of you guys have it, but he said something along the lines of you can't switch them or something, you can't reallocate the points between the both of them, like they don't share points. But then he said something after they came back from like the video footage saying that you can, but it's like hard or something, like you have to, there's like a special means you have to go through to do it. It's not very easy to do. So it sounded like you couldn't do it, but you can do it, which kind of confused some people.
Maybe it just has something to do with switching stats like you would for any other job. Having one of those old pages that we used to have, or equally difficult means of changing point.
Yeah. Well,
not like 1.0 where you can change at will.
I have one solution for that.
What?
Presence of Mind. I mean, Cleric Stance.
Yeah, didn't they say Cleric Stance just like basically swaps your intelligence with your mind?
Yep.
So wouldn't that be the solution?
Huh.
It will be, for the moment.
Now, let me ask this. What level's Cleric Stance gained at for, what is it, Conjurer?
Yeah.
What level's that at? Is that early on, or is that like a later spell?
Low level. 16 or so.
Alright, so level 16 you'd say, give or take, on Conjurer, which is the subclass for both Summoner and Scholar. So they both share that ability, so I'm guessing that's the bridge, maybe? Like, maybe they might do that in the future for other cross-sharing jobs or something? Not too sure, because this is new territory. We have not had a class that splits into two jobs before. So this is breaking into new territory and dealing with some new things here. Now, it does remind me of 1.0's back when Decimal Darkhold first came out, where we could like freely change our attributes back and forth on like a, I think it was like a 2 to 3 hourly basis or something like that, more or less.
Yeah, it took about a day to switch your whole...
Yeah, so about a day's worth you would have to swap between. Kind of reminds me of that a little bit, but they did mention those Keeper of the Hymns are going to be coming back, which if anyone doesn't remember what those are the little sheets that you had to get, and if you get, I think you get them from your job quest, and once you get them from the job quest,
job quest,
yeah, you pop them, and then you get to reallocate all your attributes for that specific class.
That's what I think. It's probably going to be a consumable way to do it, but it'll be pretty difficult to get over time.
I hope you can get multiples like them again. Even if it's hard, as long as you can get them again, I hope to Christ you can, because we all know what happened with my fucking stats. So I want to avoid that again. That was very unfortunate. But anyway, moving on from that. Is there anything else you guys wanted to mention from Scholar or Summoner or even Arcanist? Because they showed off a couple new things. Like they showed off the Carbuncle actually fighting. I don't know if they did that before, did they? That was like the first time.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it before in that length of time.
One thing I want to throw out real quick before anyone chimes in is they did this little thing where, you know those floor abilities where like you have like a cursor and it moves around like a highlighted area that you place it on, and then if you activate it, that's where the spell goes. Well, they had something for Carbuncle too, where you can order your pet to go into like tactical positions. So if you want to get out of an AoE, like for Ifrit's Hellfire, for example, you can order it somewhere and it'll run over there and it'll start fighting and healing in that position. I'm wondering if you could do that for the Chocobo too, or the Summoner's Eggies, or the Fairy. So they said something about the Fairy where it has AoE cure abilities and regen. I'm guessing if you like tell it where to go somewhere, there's like a ring around it. And I'm guessing if the ring forms, that's the AoE range where it heals people. So I'm guessing as a scholar, you order it where to go if you wanted to do mass AoE cures, and if it's getting too much hate, you can probably order it back or something. So I think
that would only make sense because you do have tank, a healing, and a DD type of for the Eggy as well as Carbuncle, Emerald versus Topaz.
Right.
So
right.
I think you're gonna hopefully be able to tell them where to go, where to tank, particularly for the tank pets.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that would only make sense too because a scholar is supposed to be a master tactician.
Right, so it would not make sense to have your healing pet next to you all the time.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I'm just still curious if you could do that with all of them. I'm sure you can, but I'd like to know if you can do it with the Chocobo too, because I noticed the Chocobo would be kind of hard to handle at times, telling it where to go.
Thus far, we haven't seen it, but the Chocobo never had the ability to be a tank or particularly. I mean, it could, but you had very limited control.
It needs a lot of healing.
Yeah.
Right. And we all saw the Topaz Carby had 5,000 HP. So almost 5,000. So it was actually a viable tank.
Oh, really? I didn't even see that.
Mm-hmm.
It had 5,000?
Wow.
Jesus.
4,985.
Yeah.
Well, that's its primary defense right there, so that's actually not half bad.
So I think that gives the summoner the Arcanist, the ability to actually solo.
Yeah.
Too many jobs and classes.
Alright, so that wraps up that portion. So let's just move on over to the game cards that they actually showed off. I don't know if anyone remembers. Did you see these, Neo? The game cards they showed off? So this is interesting. Now, I knew about these for a while, okay? And I knew they were going to be in Europe, because on Abriel's DualShockers section that people might be familiar with, he mentioned these out. He pointed out in Europe they get these things. I wasn't sure if we were going to get them too. So apparently it works out, all these different retailers get these different types of promotional artwork on their game time cards, and there's different ones. So for people, like he said, people going to school or college that don't have credit cards yet, they can go into a store, they can buy the card, they just input the code on their PC or their PlayStation 3, and then they're good to go for every amount of months that they bought for in the store. Which is great. I think that's a good idea for people that don't have access to those types of paying methods, because I know there's the Krista thing that people like to avoid. There was that whole click and buy bullshit that people hated way back then. I mean, we can actually use our credit cards now in the present day for 14. But the game time cards I think are a nice alternative for people to choose from that are playing the game. So I think the more the merrier. What do you guys think?
Well, I can relate to that because when Final Fantasy XI came out, taking way back, I didn't have a credit card at the time, and I could play it when it first launched. And I was hoping they would make game time cards for that, but they never did. Until I got only the card, that's when I started playing Final Fantasy XI. So I can relate to that, and I'm glad they did that.
To be honest, anything with graphics that is collectible plays to a lot of our desires, I think. They had some pretty good graphics on some of those cards, and unfortunately I don't think he told us exactly which cards will be open where. I didn't see he said anything specific.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be at like Best Buy or GameStop or something like that. Most of the gaming retailers I think they'll try and get in contact with, but I think that's up to the English side of things. Oh, wow, we got Miru here. Alright, so Gala, what do you think about this? Any additional comments?
Well, like I said before, not having a credit card is very common in Japan, so
yeah,
it's a good way to bring more people who doesn't have a credit card. You said students and those kind.
Huh. Alright, so the next part we're going to move into, sorry, I was just distracted from the little jingling thing, is the World Transfer Service. Now this I was not expecting because we just had one recently, right? And I didn't think they were going to actually have a service in place where you pay to transfer after your launch. So it says this fee-based service will allow you to move characters from one world to another. It's possible to move a maximum of 8 characters to a single world. So not just one character, you can move 8 total to another world with this service that they're coming in. And when is this, Galu? This is how many weeks can we look forward to this after launch?
2 to 3, but before that it was 6 months.
Wow, so 6 months. That's can't believe I totally missed out on that. I forgot about the 6 months thing, but that's nice. They're moving it closer to launch for people in case if they pick a server and they're not happy with it.
Or they didn't pick a server.
Or if they didn't pick a server at all, that's true. That's actually a good countermeasure for people that went missing for a little bit. They kind of got left out of the 14 loop. They didn't do the server transfer. If they got stuck on a Japanese server or somewhere they're not happy with, and then they come back to the game and they find out they're on a completely different place or the same place or people are missing.
Or in a ghost town like Riddle.
Yeah, that's another good point there. So yeah, I think that's a really good idea that they're boiling it down to like 2 to 3 weeks. I think that's a good amount of playtime. I think that's right after the free play period for pre-existing users, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's like a 2-week free play period.
September 9th is when it ends.
So then,
September 9th.
yeah, somewhere around there. September 9th or September 10th, something like that. The next thing we'll move on to is the Libra Eorzea. I think I pronounced that right. Libra Eorzea. It's a database on phones, and I think it's on PC too, right? It's on the Lodestone. You can find this.
Well, I know this database is connected to the Lodestone. I don't know if it's actually on PC or not on the Lodestone.
So I'm pretty sure it's safe to
gonna
say.
Be
Yeah.
for PC mainly at the beginning because they said something about Android being late.
Yeah, they said, let me see if I can pull it up real quick here. For the Libra Eorzea, it says free, and 1 week after launch, you can look forward to this. So it's going to be on phones, like he showed off. It's going to be on, what is the name of it? The iPhone. It's going to be on the tablet for the Apple tablets. And if it's connected to the Lodestone, I'm pretty sure it's safe to say it's going to be built into the PC's website for the Lodestone as well that we had beta testing for. I think it was a few weeks back or so before they pulled it down. But they also made note that 3 weeks to a month for Android users to wait for this thing to come out. So unfortunately for Android users, they have to wait a little bit longer for this. So I don't know if that's an exclusivity deal or something with Apple or whatnot behind the scenes, because they had a lot of promotional stuff going for this game. So I don't know if that's one of the portions of it, or if maybe there's just a different system that they have to configure and it takes a little bit longer for. I don't know which, but
The problem with Android, in my opinion, is that it has a lot of versions. Maybe that's the problem that delayed the Libra Eorzea.
yeah. Interesting points, interesting. Alright, so the next thing we're going to move into is some of the concept art sections and the mounts that they showed off. So the first one that I got pulled up here on my screen is the snowman that they showed off. I mean, you guys remember seeing this one, right? So we got, alright, so we got a Santa's costume.
I still think that it needs a mustache.
Oh my god. So we got the Santa costume from first year. We got the reindeer costume, which one of our members is in love with, for the second year. And now we got a snowman. We got Frosty the frickin' Snowman as one of our costumes. So this thing looks pretty adorable. It's a full snowman costume from head to toe. And also, if you look below that image, you'll notice there's a Kabuto helmet for the New Year's. Now, for people that are new to this and aren't used to the game for the events, every year they come out with seasonal event stuff, and at the New Year's section, they come out with a special samurai-like helmet. And for the first year we had these, the rabbit helm, because it was Year of the Rabbit.
Usagi.
Right, and then the second one was the dragon helmet, correct? The dragon Kabuto, I think it was called.
Ryu.
Right. And this year is coming to the halfway point, which we're already almost through, is supposed to be Year of the Snake. And they actually had concept art for it, but they never released it because we've been in beta and stuff. So I don't know if we get that still or if that's just like long gone. But apparently, if you look really closely at the image, I might be wrong. I could be wrong, but it looks like a horse to me. I don't know. I haven't been keeping up on like the whole Chinese New Year mythological creatures type thing, but it definitely does not look like a snake from what I can see. It looks like a horse, because you can see like the snout and the ears, but I'm probably wrong. I don't know. Did you guys get a good glimpse at that or seeing what that was?
I don't remember seeing that. Of course, I was like halfway asleep when I watched it. I don't remember seeing that. I may have dozed off. That may have been one of those moments.
Yeah, so I could be wrong, but just something I looked at a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, next year is the horse.
Oh, it is. Oh, wow.
The golden horse.
That's actually my sign, too. The horse in
Same.
Chinese year, so that's going to be interesting, having a giant horse on our fucking heads. Alright, so...
You mean the math?
Oh, man.
On the internet?
Oh, God. Alright, so moving on. We got the Valentine's Day for Valentine's Day. It's a nice, I don't know how to describe this costume. It looks like a cooking costume or something. Like a maid costume or whatnot. She has something in her hands in the she has something in her hands. I don't know what it is. It looks like like one of those cookie dough beaters or something. I don't even know what that is. Yeah.
Maybe.
So that's an interesting...
Maybe they're bringing chocolate back.
Maybe. Chocolate?
Yeah.
Alright, the next part was we were joined by, what's her name? Rai Tanaka, who was the voice of Kanisana and Garuda for the Japanese version. She joined, I think I got her name right, I don't have it on me at the top of my head, but she joined in with like her two little Moogle stuffed animals, and she was joined by Yoshi P and Foxclaw on the live stream, which surprised a lot of people. So she does Kanisana from the Grand Company of the Order of the Twin Adder in Gridania. She also does Garuda as the Primal, Wind Primal of the Ixali, for those of you that aren't familiar. And they were talking for a bit about the game, and eventually they jumped into this one portion where they pulled up the new mount. Now, some of us already knew about this, but we never seen the actual model for it. But what it was it was a freaking unicorn they pulled out. A freaking unicorn mount. So a lot of people were like, nah, this can't be real. This isn't true. So get this, alright? To get the unicorn mount, you have to go through the Conjurer's class quest. And in the class quests, and I don't know if it has to do with actual story elements or whatnot, but at some point when you get far enough and complete it, you get a mount as a reward. And that mount just so happens to be this holy unicorn or something for the Conjurer and White Mage to use. Now here's the cool thing about it, is once you unlock it as an incentive going through the Conjurer quest, you can use it on any other class or job with your same character, so it becomes universal once you unlock it, which is really neat. And another little tiny detail I wanted to point out is that I heard from the live stream is that each animation is different for each character that rides their mount. So I don't know if it's only for the unicorn or if it's for all mounts now, but they said that each race that rides this thing has a different stance when they sit on the back of it, which is pretty cool. Nice little touch for people that like the animations from 1.0. So what do you guys think about?
Jer.
Sure, go ahead.
Lalafels and unicorns.
Totally.
Oh my god. I just love the
My
comment.
Little Pony is coming.
They're actually gonna have an achievement now for My Little Pony when you get this thing, watch. It's funny too because what was it, Kai, who's like a big fan of My Little Pony, even though he'll probably deny it,
he's
but
gonna kill us for that.
if he ever watches this, but oh dude, like he's gotta get this mount. Like I don't know if did he get Conjurer or White Mage up to 50? I don't remember if he did, but
every job.
He's gotta get this mount, dude. This is like his calling card. He is the one with the unicorn. Dwight's gonna totally make fun of him for this, and it's gonna be funny. And then our other friend Wolf pointed out that he hopes it was what was the quote? It farts out glitter.
Oh,
yeah, what's
that?
Oh my god. So what do you guys think about this thing? Because there have been unicorns in past Final Fantasy games. One was a summon, I believe, in, what was it, 6 or 5? And it was also...
Ishgar has a unicorn on the banner.
That is
If I
true.
remember right.
That is true. Unicorn is on the bottom right-hand corner of the Ishgardian flag. Fun fact right there for anybody that did not know that. So, but what do you guys think? Do you think this is kind of stupid? You think it's kind of like too My Little Pony-ish? You guys think it's cool for people?
It's not a game breaker, and me at least, I'm not gonna use it unless we can get.
Come on, Gal. You don't want to ride the magical unicorn? What's the matter with you? How can you deny its magnificence?
I'd rather to chase a purple dragon.
What?
Alright, so... Oh, wow.
No, but the only way I will use a unicorn is with a barding, like armor.
Now that would be cool, because I noticed they were teasing us with the Sleipnir mount from Odin. So... Who knows?
Hopefully, yeah.
That would be sort of interesting, seeing like a freaking completely armored, decked out unicorn with like battle armor on and shit. It's got like all this crazy stuff and like rainbows flowing all over it. That would be nuts to ride in the. Come on, PvP battles, you don't want to ride that thing?
Oh my god.
Alright, so
Yeah.
moving on to our next concept art, we have the Leviathan fountain that you can get for your free company housing. Now, Leviathan is being rumored to be the next primal that they're implementing, since Ifrit, Garuda, and Titan are going to be at launch, it's said to be. And then in patch 2.1, Good King Mogglmog should be coming out then. He was making a comeback for some people that were curious if he was not, or if he was. So Leviathan should be pretty close, not too far after launch. I'm not sure what time frame we're looking at, but if they're already showing concept art off, he should be well away as a reward. So, what do you guys think about this? You got some of the images pulled up for these? Have you looked at these at all, or?
No.
I did, I don't think it's gonna take that long to see new primals in the game. I think that it's gonna be related to minor patches, new dungeons, or story quests. Gonna be related to the bigger ones, like the ones we get every 1 month and a half.
Right. Alright, so the next concept art we got here is, following after a Leviathan, is a Garuda bench, bed, table, chair. I don't know what it is, but some crazy looking thing your character can sit in. It looks like it's big enough for multiple characters, like a giant Garuda couch. It's just got these giant freaking wings coming off the back of it. Looks pretty cool. Nice marble chair going around the top of it, where you can sit in this comfy little seat. So that'd be neat for
I
you.
just wonder one thing.
What?
If we have primal related furniture, are we gonna need something from the primal to make it?
Now here's something I want to point out though. Actually, this might actually be considered NDA breaking, so I gotta shut my mouth. I can't say it, but let's just put it this way. I saw some things that dropped from them that might be used towards this. I'll say that much. I'm not gonna say anything else.
Wait. We're allowed to discuss that kind of stuff. They said we can talk about it. We just can't show videos or.
No, but Johnny said that we can discuss or show information that's not released
Publicly, so to be safe, so for anyone watching this, I don't want to get like red-handed caught, so I'm gonna leave it for a later video. But let's just say that there might be stuff I've seen that might be used towards that. I don't know, but just throwing that out there. The next thing they showed off was pretty neat. Was the Grand Company beds. So if you're from the Immortal Flames in ul'dah, if you're from the Maelstrom in Limbs of Laminza, or if you're from the Order of the Twin Adder in Gridania, you get these special made beds that have different colored patterns on them, and little stuff that go around the bed, like a bookshelf, a nightstand. You get like the cool little seaside faring sailor nets and stuff with a buoy or a life jacket that goes, or a lifesaver thing, whatever you call those, next to it, which is pretty cool. And the Immortal Flames one has like a cactus or something, I think it looks like, next to it, like a cactus, and that's so you can stab yourself when you're sleeping in the night or whatever.
My dream come true.
So it's really nice, the designs they came up with. I like the look of the Twin Adder and Maelstrom one. The Immortal Flames one looks not bad. It's okay. It's looks kind of dull compared to the others, but I do like the fan that they have in theirs. I like the design of that. It looks nice.
I like the Laminsan one, even when it's a mess.
Yeah, it looks like something you would have on a boat or like a cruise ship or something. Or,
Yeah.
I like that. And then the twin adder one looks really nice with the wood and the yellowness and the little bookshelf that's right next to it. Nice little touches like that. And then the next thing they show was like this little lamp. I don't know what this is from. Is just some lamp thing. It's like a yellow and a blue one. Not quite sure. I can't read Japanese, so I'll probably get back to you guys on that one at a later point. Maybe you guys can fill me in on that. But the next thing was really cool, and I'm going to talk about this later in another video that I'm going to be doing soon. The Tonberries were finally announced today. They were finally showing off for the first time. And one of the things we're looking at right here is the Tonberry statue thing, or little lamp that you can get for your free company housing. Really cool looking stuff right here. So what do you guys think about this?
Love it. Love it. I want it so bad. I want it as soon as I start.
What was the name of the skill they had in 11? Bane of All.
Oh, dude, you have to ask.
Yukio.
I don't remember. I didn't have too much experience with them. I saw them like once or twice, but I don't know. You guys can probably answer that better than I can. It was like an overall hate thing that built up, I know.
Yeah.
And you had to go to like a jungle or like a temple in the Yator jungle, I think
Everyone's
it was.
grudge.
Yeah, and then it would reset your hate or something. I remember for the Dragoon quest, I had to like run into them and stuff in that temple. So I think they look a lot cooler here than they do in 11.
Skill.
They might. Well, you heard like what they talked about with the dungeons and stuff, where you have like multiple people having to share the hate or sharing the attacks, where you have to split up the damage or something.
Yeah, it's like 1,000 needles, if you think about that.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe they'll have something like that for the Tonberries, which would be a pretty cool mechanic. Hopefully there's just not like a standard mob that
Wait. King Cactuar, maybe? They say 10,000 damage.
King Cactuar did 10,000 wounds.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He killed, you were like, it would not get the damage to the party members.
Interesting thoughts. We'll have to
Maybe
see how
it
that
was
turns
King.
out. Well, the next thing that they showed off was a Mandragora fountain statue chess piece. Not quite sure what this is. I think it's a lamp. Pretty cool stuff. It looks like an ant, which is funny. Little Mandragora. Another thing they showed off was stuffed animals of a Moogle. And they also showed off a little baby chocobo stuffed animal with like a button for an eye, which was pretty cute. So that's nice to get. The other thing was with the Ahriman. They showed the Ahriman clock, it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, and an Ahriman, I guess, vase or something that holds like flowers in it. It's like a little flower coming out of its head. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, it actually shows the numbers in the Eorzean font for a clock. So it is an Ahriman clock you can get for the house. Which I don't know what you would do with it since there's already a clock built into the UI, but this is a nice little touch if you want to decorate.
Yeah, make a house.
Maybe it does something every hour or
Maybe.
every 6 hours.
Not everything has to have a purpose.
That is true. It's good for role players, I'll say that much, for sure.
What about the immersion?
It's all
You're killing it!
Alright, now this next one, I have no idea if this is a fountain or a frickin' lamp or something or what, but apparently it's a giant Marlboro or Morbol, and there's like all these little tinier baby Morbols in front of it. You guys probably saw this, right? They were showing up this. I have no friggin' idea what this is. Like, I'm guessing it's a lamp since you're showing lamps as examples on the right side of the concept art sheet, but I can't imagine how that's going to work. I'm guessing the little ones light up like little pods.
I have seen enough hentai to know where this is going.
Alright, we're gonna...
Oh, no.
Oh, man. You know, we're gonna move on to the next one. The next sim is I think it's a helmet. It's like a bat. It's like goblin ears or keekern ears or whatnot, but it's a headpiece. Not quite sure what that is. Then they showed off a couple lance designs, some type of genie lamp looking staff, which kind of reminds me of the original Arcanist staff that they had in 1.0. I don't know if that's for them though. It might be for like a conjurer or white mage or something. The next thing they also show was which I'm saying right now looks very eerily like an Arcanist stave from 1.0, but it's based off of I'm guessing Leviathan? I don't know if this is a Leviathan weapon. I don't remember the actual timestamp in the live chat from Reinhardt if this was. I didn't get a good glance at it then. I was taking too many screenshots to actually look, but it looks like a Leviathan design staff for one of the mage classes, but it looks a lot like the old staves that the Arcanist had. So I'm guessing this is a two-handed Arcanist weapon. I don't know if they have that ability or if that's confirmed or not. But it's probably a black mage or a white mage staff, so I'm probably wrong. But I just wanted to comment to say it looked a lot like those old staves. They also showed a book for, I'm not sure if this was Summoner or Scholars, or if it was Arcanist book, but some sort of, I guess it was a Leviathan-shaped one they had here. The other one, I'm not quite sure what this is. It looks like a giant frickin' moose or something, or a deer that's like on the cover. So, I don't know what the hell that's about, but that's kind of interesting. The Leviathan one looks pretty neat. It's got a lot of tentacles or snake-like appendages wrapped around the book or something with Leviathan on the one side. So that's pretty neat. Now, getting away from the weapons and gear, I want to show off some of the fashion-type costumes they showed off. Now, I don't know if you guys remember seeing these, but they showed off an Eskimo suit for the snow section, which had this adorable little baby behemoth wrapped in like an Eskimo hoodie and stuff. It looked like it freaking was wearing a parka or something. Oh my god! Like I know people would probably be like going eee to that kind of stuff. I can just hear it right now. Like
a few hours.
I know they're probably doing that because I even myself kind of like was like, wow, that's pretty cute. They look like the ice climbers a little bit. Yeah, with like they kind of look like that with the costumes they gave them, because they got one with a blue, the other one with like a pinkish type looking suit, so that's pretty neat. I don't know if the behemoth comes with like a leash and a little winter coat, but that would be pretty cool.
He comes with a leash.
The next one they
let's
showed.
That and go with the pickaxe, miner.
That would be so awesome. That's a great idea. Mining up in Corthus wearing that thing.
Yeah.
The next one they showed was a fashion for a spring dress. So this is for like female characters, it looks like. A nice dress with like a bonnet hat or something for people to roleplay in, wear around and stuff. Good
Maybe
for vanity.
it's a casual dress that we have been asking for.
Yeah, I think that's what these fashion type pieces are. I think they're basically for like vanity sets, because you wear your real gear underneath and then you wear the stuff that you prefer to be unique and stand out from other players on top of that. So I think that's what this stuff is potentially geared towards for when that gets implemented. But for now, it's just like stuff you switch into when you want to roleplay or change it up a bit for screenshots or something. The next fashion piece was a very interesting one. It's called the Marine Look, is what it's quoted as. Now, I'm guessing this is for fishers. It's like this weird fishing hat that looks different from the one that the AF uses and has a big frickin' paddle on it. So, they also show the Warriors of Light piece, which looks, you got the whole full set. So basically, you get the helmet from the collector's edition, and the rest of it you get somehow in game to complete the look. There's another type of PvP-looking gladiator style of armor they showed off. I think this is Amon or Anon. I haven't played Final Fantasy III, but I did read his name. What is it, Galu? The guy with the hat who looks like a pirate, like a giant pimp or whatever. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, it wasn't the concept bar.
What was his name? It was something with an A. It was like Amon or Anon. Like I haven't played 3,
I think
so
it was Amon.
Yeah, so you get his costume apparently if you beat him, I'm guessing, which...
Yeah, they said something about him being in the Labyrinth of Bahamut, like the mid-boss.
That would be friggin' sweet. Like, his costume just looks like friggin' Final Fantasy pimp. Like, you thought the Bard was good. You thought the Bard and the Red Mage were... Like, it kind of does look like a Red Mage set, actually, or something. A little bit. Like something out of Monster Hunter.
To be a Red Mage, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's too pimpy. It's like friggin' 1970s pimp costume. And a cane. The next one is Jerbird. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's a DPS set. Looks like they're showing off a Dragoon or a Lancer wielding this. It's nothing crazy, but it's nothing bad either. It's definitely a unique set of armor. It looks pretty cool to switch into to make yourself look different from other players. So they got that coming in. And let's see what else we got on the docket here. They also segued into, after talking a bit about some stuff and doing some more Q&A, the PvP section for the hub world where the Colosseum takes place. they showed off. It's in Leonesaurus. You go to Morbi Dry Docks, and I guess you take a boat or something there, and it takes you to this place. It's like an island where the crater from Dalamud smashed in to the planet, and it created this crater. And the crater is where the PvP section is set up at. So you can see like the Aetheryte in the center here, where the player that Yoshi P's controlling, the White Mage Elizin female, they're going around the environment and looking at stuff. They're showing the PvP board where you can see like leaderboards and people hosting games and stuff and schedules. They got the Grand Company section where you enter in, and I'm guessing it's like the front lines for Grand Companies. And they have like these 2 blue warp points, which I'm not sure what those are for. I think it's like for matchmaking or something, or entering matches.
Maybe one is 4v4 and one is 8v8.
Could be. Definitely a good theory right there. Then they showed them going into the next portion, which we're going to talk about, which is the Welcome Back campaign. So I'm going to segue to you guys in a second, but I'm just going to read off the title card for this. It says, those who played Final Fantasy XIV version 1.0 can play Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn for free until September 9th, Monday. So you were right, it was the 9th. So that's for the Welcome Back campaign. Also, before we get into the next segment, I want you guys to go over on the Lodestone, the Welcome Back stuff. So can you tell us a little bit about like what to expect from the Welcome Back campaign? How does that work exactly? Like what can we expect?
Well, do you just want me to read this off to you, what I got here?
Basically like a gist of it, like to give people an idea of how this works, like how, like if they like what copies they have, what can they get out of it, what account types you need for a certain, things like that.
Well, it says users who don't possess a Final Fantasy XIV service account yet, it's 30 days subscription time. Okay, well, no, this what I'm looking at is the one for registered for PS3.
Oh, I see. So basically, like if you're new to the game, right? So like if you register a PS3 account, you get was it like 30 days or something subscription time?
Yeah, that's what it says. You see 30 days of subscription time.
And then
all version 1.0 users can participate in the Welcome Back campaign. If you buy a PS3 copy of the game and add it to your version 1.0 account, you can play that same account for an additional 30 days free. Your 30 days of free time will begin after the end of the Welcome Back campaign.
That's interesting. So after the Welcome Back campaign, your 30 days kick in. So if you get 2 weeks of early access, let me ask this. For Welcome Back campaign, as soon as you get the game, how long does that last? You said till the 9th?
Yeah, September the 9th. Okay,
so after the 9th, then you get 30 days extra. So, so if the game comes out, like, can you start at the early access or from launch date? Is that when your Welcome Back thing kicks in?
No, the early access doesn't count towards your Welcome Back, I don't believe.
Oh, okay, that's a good point. So it starts on officially the launch day, and that's when it starts. Okay, so it's basically from the 27th of August to September 9th, 2013, and then after September 9th, you get your 30-day subscription. Now, here's another point that I saw was if you register, like if you're brand new, you never played the game before, and you buy the PS3 version, you get 30 days. Another thing they mention is if you get the Windows version next, and register that, you get another 30 free days too as well. So that's like 60 days right there, 2 months of free game time. And the game's like only $40, right, or something like that.
Well,
like,
it says you cannot stack. Wait.
So you can't like do one after the other.
You cannot stack the free trial period by registering multiple copies on the PC and PS3. Okay.
Oh, so you can't do that then. Okay.
No, you can't stack multiple.
So you only get one chance to get 30-day subscription, is what I'm understanding.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay, so hopefully everybody picks that up, is that you only get one chance to get 30 days, and you get the Welcome Back campaign, which starts from the August 27th to September 9th, and then you get 30-day subscription depending on which copy you register that's new. If you're a returning player that is not buying a new copy, you essentially get 2 weeks of playtime. So hopefully everyone understands that, and if you have any questions or concerns, just leave a comment and we'll get back to you on that. So the next part we're actually going to segue into is the Veteran Rewards. Now, this is the good stuff I want to talk about. The Veteran Rewards program grants various bonuses depending on how long you've been a subscriber for. Alright, so basically, okay, if you're a veteran player, now what this means is, if you are a pre-existing player, if you're a new player, if you subscribe for 30 days, okay, this is an incentive to subscribe to the game now, if people are like wondering why they should subscribe. If you subscribe for 30 days, 1 month, you get a wind-up cursor of the classic Final Fantasy pointer finger from the classic games that follows you around and actually goes up and down and points at you and stuff. And does like little things like you would see in the menu. And you also get a file of Fantasia. Now, for people that are wondering what this file is, essentially what happens is once you get the file, you have a one-time chance to change your character's appearance. So as soon as you drink this potion or pop it, the next time you log in to the game, it gives you an option to change your character's appearance. So if you're not happy with the way your character come out, you can switch its race, its gender, you can change the physical appearance of it and everything. So that's what the file of Fantasia is basically set up to work as. And the wind-up cursor is essentially a minion. So here are some images you can actually see of it here that I'm showing right now, of Yoshi P summoning his little pointer finger and showing exactly like what it looks like, how big it is, and where it stands when it's out. The next... Oh, now let me ask you guys, like, what do you think about this before I move on? What are your thoughts?
I like the finger, but... well, I'm gonna say something about the eye.
Okay, we'll get to that in a sec. What do you think?
Yeah, in a sec.
I have multiple issues with the wind-up cursor minion finger. They can be... Yeah. I'm not going to talk about it just for the simple fact that it's not very appropriate.
Alright, well if you want you could share your thoughts or whatever. I'm sure there's people out there that share the same...
My only fear right now is that they start to sell the Fantasia potion like a paid item with real money.
Oh, like a microtransaction basically.
That's my only fear with an item like that one.
Now, when we get to the end, I want to talk a little bit more about that point, because that's an actually interesting point that you brought up, but we'll get into that in a sec. So, we'll move on to the next part, which is the Veteran Rewards for 60 days. So, 2-month subscriber, you get a black chocobo chick, and you get a Cascadeer uniform voucher, which is essentially a black swimsuit for male and female characters to use. You only get this for a 60-day subscription for 2 months of play that you subscribe to the game, and you get these instantly the next time you log in. So that is pretty awesome. And it shows like another picture here of Yoshi P summoning the black chocobo, standing right beside him underneath. And they do not show off the Cascadeer's uniform, but it's a pretty good idea of what it looks like from the image shown off here. So what do you guys think about that? Happy or indifferent?
All perverts would be happy.
Well,
with that.
I think we got that out of the way, so I think we're all expecting that from the get-go. But you know what? Here's another good point I like to bring up for people that were, because there were a lot of people sounding off that they missed the original swimwear. So for people that miss it this year too, if they are just a subscriber for 60 days alone, they get this swimsuit instantly. So there is a way to get multiple swimsuits for people that are disappointed if they don't get it. So any character you create from the get-go will have these items on their account because it's being marked under your service account that you were a subscriber for this many days. So any new character you create, get these.
I think they should give you one. You could be able to die.
What? Oh, right. I thought you meant like actually killing yourself. Yeah, dies. That would be...
No.
That would be interesting.
That's what I was thinking.
I was like, what? I want to pay to die? But that makes sense. Yeah. I don't know, because it's a good point, but then it kind of...
Why one?
I guess so. But then it kind of eliminates the purpose of getting it as a reward, because then you could just recreate it from the standard ones. But, I don't know, it's definitely a good point, though. I'll say that. I don't know if they would actually go through with it, but... Anyway, the next one, this is what you wanted to talk about, is the Veterans Rewards for 90 days. So if you're a 3-month subscriber to Final Fantasy XIV, essentially the same length as Legacy subscribers from back in 1.0, as the same amount for 90 days, you get the Beady Eye, which is a little Arimon minion that follows you around, which looks a lot like the classic Arimon from previous games, like on the SNES and PS1 without the arms and stuff. It looks pretty cool. I think it looks pretty adorable, so I like to have him. So for like people that are into like demons and bats and stuff, I think they would like him. And then here's a couple images basically of him just fluttering around, Yoshi P's character, just bobbing his eye back and forth, looking around.
Am I the only one who thinks that the tiny eye should give you like hints of the lore at random
Oh
moments?
man, dude, didn't even think about that. That would have been perfect, dude. Give him a friggin' scholar's cap and a monocle, the Fern Hollies edition. That would be perfect, dude.
Like quotes of the lore or...
man. Like, maybe he'll show up in game one day and he'll offer it to people that run into him or something. Kind of like they did in 1.0 where they gave out those things.
If you visit Ishgar, he's gonna tell you about the stories of Ishgar, that they worship Kalon.
Maybe there's like
Stuff like that.
maybe there's like a lore achievement that you could do in game or through like that database that they're coming out with, and maybe the achievement is you get the special monocle wearing scholar's cap, intelligence, knowledge-filled little Arimon mount that looks like Fern Hollies. That'd be friggin' amazing. So hopefully someone tells this to him, and that would be great. That'd be a really awesome minion. So the next thing we're going to segue into, speaking of Arimon, we're going to be talking about the veteran rewards. Also for 90 days, you get the Voidal Resonator, which is the Arimon mount that you get. So you sit on top of this thing's head, and it just flies you around all the realm. I can't even say it with a straight face. This sounds so ridiculous, but I don't know. I think it's awesome at the same time, but I think a lot of people are going to be like, yo, what is up with this mount? So, Galo, I'm gonna let you.
It is like a saddle or something that keeps you on top.
It's so funny.
It's like when I saw the female elephant on top of the Abriman, it's like she was floating, not touching the Abriman.
Oh man, that is just too funny. It looks awesome though. I'm gonna really love using that, just flying around.
I don't mind it, but I think it needs something else.
Like a little bit of a touch to it or something, make it unique.
Yeah, saddle.
Maybe like a carpet, like the Gubu or something.
Yeah.
Like, a saddle would be good. Just like a little seat that you can sit into and hold on, or whatever.
Or a basket.
Yeah, a basket, or it'd be like E.T. Alright, so the next thing they say is for veteran awards is the bonuses you receive will depend on how long you subscribe. By starting with a 90-day subscription, you'll receive all of 30-day, 60-day, and 90-day bonuses all at once. So I heard from people on the forums, they were saying with other MMOs, what'll happen is you'll do these little promotions that they have, or these little deals that they give you, and you won't get it. You'll get it like 3 months away, which is like the amount of time it wants you to subscribe to the game. But with 14, what I've heard is since they say you get them instantly, as soon as you go for those 90-day subscription plan, you get everything instantaneously. So boom, right on the delivery Moogle, go to the Moogle, you get it, you use it right away. You don't have to wait 2 to 3 months for like your subscription to equal up to the plan or whatever, because they already get your money. So I mean, they figure what the hell, we'll give them all the items anyway. You're just being loyal and subscribing. Now, I think it's pretty cool that, because a lot of people were complaining about Legacy and they don't have Legacy, they missed out on it, and I can understand that, because they had the Welcome Back campaign previously and the Legacy program, but since they're not bringing back Legacy, I think this veteran program is a great way to encourage people to not only stay subscribed to the game, but it shows their appreciation for people that are loyal to the game too, by offering cool little minions, new mounts that are exclusive, costumes, all sorts of stuff, and you get the ability to change.
They're gonna add more rewards.
Yeah, they are.
Yes, that is another good point, is they're coming out with more of these things. So the 60, 90, and 30 days are not the only ones you get to expect. They are coming out with like 120, 180, and so on. So that is pretty awesome. So look forward to that.
They didn't say anything about something beyond 180.
So we'll have to see how far they're willing to go. I'm pretty sure if they're considering keeping people to stick around, they're going to come up with as many incentives as they can. And if everyone remembers seeing all the minions that they had available for this game, there's still a lot we have not seen yet that are just like concept art. So they can use those for veteran rewards, quest rewards, achievement rewards. You can craft some of them. So there's a lot of possibilities. And on top of that, we still have other mounts that they talked about in the past, like the Drake mount. That still hasn't been shown yet, but that was shown at the same time as the first ever showing of the Arimon and Gubu mount. So maybe a Drake mount could be a future mount from the Veteran Rewards program. Maybe it's a future mount from a class quest like the Unicorn. Who knows? So we'll have to wait and see what pans out in the future. But definitely a really nice... It's definitely a really nice incentive for people that are like wondering like, why should I subscribe to this game? Why should I stick around? Like, is there any point? Well, it might not be a huge selling point, but it's definitely something for people that are like suckers for that, like I am. So,
I'll tell you why.
Oh, you can go.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go right ahead. I'm done.
I said I'll tell you why you need to subscribe to this game. Because of the drunken Moogle.
Yes, there's that too. Oh man, you just gave me an idea. Like, what if we get a drunken Moogle as a minion? He just like goes around with little speech bubbles, talking like shit to everybody in the game. He's like, "Who you look at? You ever seen a drunken Moogle before, man? Yeah. Oh, you think you're better than me? Cause like you tall and shit? I don't give a fuck. Yo, I got my Moogle powers, man." It's just like, oh yeah, you don't got a pom-pom and shit, you wish you had one of these. So that'd be pretty cool. You get like a little Moogle guy that like just goes around like just badgering everyone and being an asshole. That'd be great. I know a lot of people would keep that as their minion. That's another thing. Like, what if minions had like little speech bubbles that people can see? Or like a greeting that you can type in for them to say? That'd be pretty awesome. Or like they come with like special ones.
Minions, yeah. Someone asked Yoshi if there was gonna be an option to see all your minions in your personal house.
Yes, that too. Maybe they just like wander like pets. Like you leave them in the house and they just like chill out. Because you said you can have different options for letting who you want to enter your free company. So maybe if they enter your household. Just to like explore and check it out. Maybe they'll just like be greeted by your pets or something and be like, oh my god, that guy has that pet. I wish I had that thing. How did he get that pet? Or something like that. So it's an interesting concept. I never even thought of that before. The next thing I want to quickly go over before we jump to the Q&A is in Gamescom, August 21st to the 25th, Germany, in Cologne. They are having a Final Fantasy XIV event. So you have the stage event with Naoki Yoshida. You also have another battle challenge and an autograph session with Yoshi P himself. Now the battle challenge here, I want to point out, is they're fighting Titan for the first time. So at E3 they had a battle challenge for Ifrit where you won t-shirts and some stuff at E3, and now they're having Titan available to the public for the first time at this Gamescom event. So you also win a t-shirt saying you beat Titan as one of the possible rewards. Also, there is a launch event in Japan on August 27th in Shibuya Hikari Hall B. And this is a mini letter from the producer live you can look forward to on August 27th, which is the next one it's been announced, along with demo booths to play the game itself. And then it just has a link here, which I'm not quite sure what this is for. I missed out on this, but I'm guessing it's regarding the launch event in Japan. People can check that out if they're curious. And then the last but not least is PAX Prime. So this is August 30th to September 1st. And this is obviously in America at the Red Lion in Seattle. And basically what is going to be happening here is a stage event with producer and director Naoki Yoshida and sound director Masayoshi Soken, who does the music for the game, and he did the soundtrack. So also a battle challenge, which is the same from Germany, which is fighting against Titan for American players to face up against, along with another autograph session with Yoshi P and Masayoshi Soken this time. And then he basically showed off the collector's edition after all that. He showed off the 7th Umbrella Era DVD, the soundtrack, the game package itself, and the art book he got a little bit of a glimpse into, where you can see some of the concept arts inside. And that wraps up the majority of the live letter. So what we're going to do now is, to wrap up the video, we're going to go through just basically the gist of the of the Q&A of what happened alongside the video for people that could not pick up the Japanese and did not see the translations yet. So I'll start it off, and then we'll just go through all of us, just reading them all off and stuff. So the first one is asking when open beta and early access is. So just to go over and reiterate again, August 17th through the 19th is when Phase 4 runs through, and it starts on the 16th if you're from Phase 3, so it starts a day earlier. And then it says that early access will run from August 24th until the 25th, and then official service obviously begins on the 27th. So the servers won't go down after early access, they say, so you'll be able to play non-stop from August 24th all the way up until launch, so there is no downtime whatsoever. Starting from August 24th all the way up to the 27th on launch day. Alright, so you can take it away with question 2 from Bayone.
What type of it says what type of restrictions, including the level cap, will be implemented in Phase 4? Basically, the level cap's gonna be at 20, and all content that can only be done up to level 20 is all you can do. And it says that all the content is exactly as it will be in the retail version.
Alrighty, so level cap set at 20. So basically a demo for players to test out the game.
Which makes sense, considering it's only 2 days for some people and 3 for others.
That is true. And all the data carries over from Phase 4 into early release and the launch game, so you don't have to worry about anything getting wiped again, as long as there's no major issues regarding Gil or something like that, which would cripple the game's economy.
For someone who just started the game, reaching level 20 with all the classes is gonna take some time.
Yeah. So the next
Even
one,
with leveling.
Yeah, it does take quite a bit of time.
Easier.
So good point right there. The next question is question 3. The characters we create in beta test Phase 4 will carry over to the official release, but will the items, quests, and other data besides our appearance also be carried over? And he just says, yes, everything will be carried over to early release and official. Alright, take it over with question 4.
It says, will a screenshot feature be added to the PlayStation 3 version in beta test Phase 4? And he just simply says, yes, we will be implementing this.
Hey. PS3 users get to check it out. I don't know how that's going to work. Oh, actually, I do know how it's going to work, because there was a game I did play on PS3 that had a screenshot feature, so I guess it just saves your dashboard on your PS3. I have a feeling a lot of people are going to eat up a lot of memory on their PlayStation console, so word of advice, be very careful with screenshots, because if you're like me, you're going to end up eating up all your memory, so screenshot wisely, and don't drink and screenshot, or drive and screenshot, however that saying goes. Anyway, question 5. Will the Arcanist class be available in Phase 4? Bet your ass it will. It's going to be in Phase 4. So you get to look forward to that. But also to reiterate yet again, Summoner and the Scholar were like 99.9% sure that since the level 20 cap is in place, even for level 50 players, you cannot unlock Scholar and Summoner. So you have to wait basically until early access at the very earliest. No pun intended, for to unlocking them. So take it over with question 6.
Is there anything you would like us to test specifically in Phase 4? And basically to sum it up, yes, they want you to stress test the housing area, and they want you to test the PvP, but you have to be, like I said before, you have to be level 30 to be able to test PvP, so only Legacy players are going to be able to do it, and you'll only be able to use basic auto attacks.
Huh. Very good points. I completely forgot about that. That is going to...
There's going to be sync level for PvP.
Well, I know.
Sorry, level sync.
I know they stated that there's going to be exclusive abilities and gear obtained through PvP, and you unlock them as you level up and gain like money or points or whatever to unlock them. So I think it's safe to say that you start over from scratch in PvP. I mean, I could be mistaken, because they did say you can level in PvP and like your actual real level in PvP, and you can do it in PvE as well. So I don't know if there's an overall level, or if there's like I think it's a ranking system, I think is what it is. Because you all start from scratch, so it's like basic, and then it match makes you up with like skill levels and things like that. Alright, so moving on to question number 7. Will the Arcanist attribute points be shared between Summoner and Scholar? No, they will not be shared. We talked about this earlier, but that is the official response from Leone and the community team. So, looks like they're split up. They're separated. Question number 8. Over to you.
This one, it gives us a little bit of insight about what we were talking about earlier, implementing Luigi. Says, are there any plans to implement Eggy? Eggy, what is it? Yeah. Are there any plans to implement additional Eggy? If we're going to implement additional Eggy, it would be when we raise the level cap.
Now that, I'm going to be honest, I'm a very optimistic motherfucker, but I gotta say I'm disappointed with that because I was really hoping that it'd be kind of like 11 Summoner where you can get like a Leviathan and Ramu and all those types and like basically switch between them. But my fairness side says it makes sense because the way they design the system is that if you give them too many, it'll be an unfair advantage to other classes. Which sucks at the same time for people that really love Summoner and how it worked in 11 and previous Final Fantasies. But in terms of an MMO and in this game, it does make sense why they did that. So it's not saying they're not coming. They will come. But when level caps raise. So like Leviathan will have its own special level 50 plus to level 60 abilities or something. And if Ramu, obviously when he's added, because I have... well, yet again, I can't talk about it because it's in the NDA, but I have seen things and heard things that leads me to believe that the ones that you're familiar with, like Ramu and Leviathan, will most definitely be coming. But you have to wait until the level cap, so... But, when they do get added, the real primals get added, like the actual bosses, and you beat them... whatever the requirements are to beat them, whether it's like a roaming primal in a fate or the actual instance, you get to summon them with your free company. So there's that too to look forward to. So the next question we're going to is question 9. Can you show us some in-game footage of the Arcanist, Summoner, and Scholar? So basically that's just showing the stuff we talked about earlier through the screenshots in front of Ishgard. But question 10 does go on to say, just like how Arcanist has Summoner and Scholar with differing roles, I'm sure in the future there will be other classes that have different branching roles. What kind of jobs are you planning to add to classes? And he answers by saying, of course we have plans. It's probably a bit early to talk about this, but we are of course thinking about the plans for how to continue development with the expansion we are referring to as 3.0 and other patches. So they already got a 3.0 plan, so if you can believe that. They're thinking that far ahead. So it seems like they have the entirety of 2.0 planned out in their heads. So it seems like 3.0 they're already making notes for. So for people that are worried about like them not having enough endgame content and plans after launch, I think it's pretty safe to say they know what they're doing. So I don't think you have to worry there. So shifting over to you for question number 11.
Says, will there be any additional payment methods other than credit card and square-enix Krista? And he's basically said yes, the game time cards they're introducing, they're going to have additional that to pay with.
And that is the game card stuff that we talked about earlier. So for 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days, I think they have one of those. But for 30 and 60, they got confirmed with a variety of designs to choose from. But this is also that details may vary from region to region. Question 12. Are you planning to have a world transfer service? So this we went over earlier as well. They said around 2 to 3 weeks after launch, they'll have more details for us around that point. But yes, they will have it. They have it planned. And you can move to other people through Duty Finder and stuff that you can meet from there and catch up with people if you got on the wrong server or if you're not happy with where you're at. Question number 13.
When will the smartphone application be released? And it's going to be released a week after launch. It'll be first off for the iOS devices.
Right. So iOS first and then Android about 3 weeks to a month after. So yeah, sorry Android users, kind of sucks, but it will be coming. It is definitely coming, but like we mentioned earlier, there's a couple loopholes or something that's going on that delays it a little bit, but it will be coming. And if you can't use it on there, you can also use it on the computer, I'm pretty sure as well, I think, hopefully. Not confirmed, but pretty sure it's going to be on the lodestone in some way, shape, or form. Question 14. In the player feedback status list, you mentioned it's thought that the players would wait until the last minute to repair gear. Doing this would cause a lot of stress worrying about gear damage while playing content when your gear is nearly broken. So we made it so that regardless of when you repair your gear, the cost does not change. However, this is a strange reason to do this. Please go into more details about the thought process behind this. And they answer by saying, as you've said, it shouldn't be a flat rate. Sorry about that. We missed this edit. In beta test phase 4, the repair cost will change depending on the amount of durability remaining instead of the flat rate. By that way, when we're trying primal battles and such, gear durability will be reduced quite a bit. So we will be easing up on the penalties when the entire party wipes. Alright, question number 15.
Will we ever be able to transfer item guild between characters on sync, account, and world? And he basically says no because they're doing that to counter-react RNT.
Right. Now, this I actually experienced in beta. I tried transferring some of my shit from my mule to my main character, and I couldn't do it, because you have to add them to your friends list, or else you can't send letters to them. So once you do that, once they're on your friends list, then you can send them items. The problem is, here's the catch. They have to be online. If they're not online, you cannot send them a request. Believe me, I tried it unless they patched it or something, and the reason they do this is, even though I'm sure people find loopholes through it, because a lot of RMTs I saw, they play with multiple characters at once, so they can probably find a way through this. But I don't know if, because they said you can't switch between characters regardless, so on the same account. But I don't know, this kind of sucks for people like me that have mules and like to transfer their stuff over.
Yeah.
But worst comes to worst, you just give it to a friend, and then the friend gives it to your main character, and you just do it that way. So it's not like it's impossible like in 1.0, but it's still kind of a pain in the ass. But at least we have mailbags. Alright, so next question is question 16. What features will be able to change in the barber shop? So it's not going to be at launch, but in the first major patch after launch, in a patch called 2.1, they're going to have the ability to change your character's hairstyle, hair color, eye color, face paint, color of the face paint, and your beard. Alright, question number 17.
You forgot something.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, they also said something about scars, marks.
Ah, right. So scars and marks as well, too. They did not have this in the answer, but as Galuizu said, it was mentioned in Reinhardt's posting, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so scars as well, too, for anyone that was curious. Alright, so question 17.
When will we be able to obtain the new heat-resistant gear? And basically it says it'll be available after 1 week after launch, and you will get it through the seasonal event Moonfire Fair, and it's a swimsuit.
Nice. So that is 1 week after launch. So that's pretty freaking close. So for people that are just starting to playing, keep that on your calendars. 1 week after launch, you get your swimwear. Alright, so question 18. Will the primal battles be the same as they were in 1.0? And they answer by saying, there are slight changes. Some of the elements are moved around, and we introduce a variety of visual notifications made to the primal battles. Even the 1.0 players will be surprised by the changes, so please stay tuned. Alright, so question 19. Ooh, that's a big one.
Yeah, I'm just going to read it. Please tell us what kind of bosses and mechanics are waiting for us in the Great Labyrinth of Bahamut and the Crystal Tower. Will primal equipment be necessary? As there are most likely newcomers watching, let me explain simply to start off. The Great Labyrinth of Bahamut will be the hardest content at the start of the Realm Reborn for a while. It will contain a lot of things such as what happened after the 7th Umbral Era event. While I can't really say too much about the mechanics, there will be bosses that can only be defeated by performing certain actions and that have different phases. Without having a party that can deal the proper amount of damage, you won't be able to move past certain phases. Additionally, there will be shared damage types of attacks that you need to have 4 people get hit by, as well as have a certain character act as a channeler for the damage. There will be a lot of different elements present. The Crystal Tower is content that can be undertaken by a 24-person party. I don't think that difficulty is really that hard, and we've adjusted it so it's something that can be enjoyed by everyone.
So that sounds interesting. That was going on a little bit about like the damage that's split between like 4 people.
Yeah.
Like you're, like you have to, basically going with 8 people, and at a certain point you have to split the party up, like in Final Fantasy VI, where you have to split it up into 2 parties, and you got to like go around the dungeon and stuff with all sorts of traps. Sounds like what they're doing.
I wonder if when they say split, they really mean split the party into lesser parties, and you are gonna be able to use minions, or well, not minions, parties like summons.
I think the closest I can relate it to is, remember in Aram Vale when me and Kai would break off from the party and we would go separate ways, and we would like, I would have to handle all the mobs and then you guys would handle the Garleans. I think it's going to be like that, but just take that concept, add it to like 4 people on one side, 4 people on the other, or more or less however many you can do, because they were talking about like you have to split damage from certain bosses along evenly from certain players to like make sure you don't all wipe. So with that being said, if you split up into 4 parties on one side, 4 parties on the other, there's probably all sorts of like puzzles and bosses and little mechanics that go to the dungeon that you have to come up with strategies for in order to reunite again. So maybe there's like a switch or something one group has to press to unlock a door for another group that has to hit a switch for the other group to get through. Or like a boss fight where there's 2 simultaneous boss fights going on. That would be pretty insane. So that sounds interesting. I'm interested to see how that works in the Bahamut area, and I wonder if that's in Crystal Tower too, since we heard that's being pushed back, but we'll probably talk about that later if that's brought up. Question 20 is, will we ever be able to send tells from within an instance area? Now this one, before I read off, I'm a little confused by it, because weren't we able to send tells already inside dungeons? Or am I mistaken? Because it says while the feature can be implemented, it's currently masked. It's currently masked because we would like to prevent players from harassing each other just because they know they would never party together in the future. We will continue to monitor the situation carefully as we move forward. So I'm guessing this means like for the duty finder, I guess. Like if you're playing with people from different servers or something, or people you're not familiar with, maybe it wants to avoid harassing them because you know you'll never see them ever again. Is that what they mean? Or because I know I'm not crazy, but I think you were already able to /tell people in dungeons. I mean, at least I was. So
I don't know.
So I don't really know what the what that's all about, but
I think they should just add an option to allow or just block every tell when you are in an instance.
Possibly, but you could already do that already if you just blacklist the person or just switch your chat tab over to something else. Probably won't be able to block the sound effect though unless you turn it off, but... Alright, so question 21.
Will we be able to fight the primal Good King Moogle, or Good King Moogle mod? 12, I think that's what it is, in the Realm Reborn. And the answer is basically, they were going to introduce it in patch 2.1, and they plan to implement extreme versions of the fights.
Nice. So there's going to be Extreme Garuda Extreme, Titan Extreme, and Good King Mago Manga 12 Extreme. That's pretty extreme. The next one is asking about the unicorn mount, so I'm going to actually skip that one. Question 23 is talking about, you previously mentioned that you might restrict the number of times we're able to roll the need on loot. Have you decided if any restriction will be in place? So basically the answer is there's not going to be any restrictions at launch is what they're saying, because they figure like 1.0 players would be kind to new players and give them all the loot and stuff and not be assholes about it, but let's face it, we got a lot of assholes that play this game, so they're probably going to do that anyway, just for company seals. But regarding like Dark Light or something, or some like really sought-after items, they don't have any restrictions on it yet for how many times you can need something. I don't know about the greed system, but for the need system, there's no restrictions. But they're going to be closely monitoring it, so if there's anything serious that pops up on the forums with people complaining, which I'll tell you right now there's going to be, so I'll just get that out of the way, but... we'll see how that, there's going to be some definitely heated debates around that one in the future going forward. Question 24.
Starting stats are different for each race, but will these variations only be marginal when reaching level 50 or will the difference arise? And he said it will only be marginal.
Alrighty. Question 25. When will the job-specific armor for the companions be implemented? They will be available at launch. So if people are confused about this, what he means is, for your companions are your chocobos. So the job-specific armor was shown off in a couple previous videos and screenshots showing the Chocobo wearing black mage armor or white mage armor, dragoon armor, and it's specific for like what job they're basically playing, like a DD or a healer or something like that, or a tank. So that's going to be available straight from the get-go at launch day, so you don't have to worry about that. Question 26.
If you make it possible to transfer items between characters on the same account, and you can transfer relic or other unique untradeable items, would it be possible to equip them on the character you transfer them to? And he says no, because they can only be equipped to the character that got them.
Right. Next one is going over the artwork that was shown about the furniture we covered earlier and the weapons. But question 28 says, I've heard that there is going to be Darklight armor for white mages. Is this true? Yes, it's true, and yes, I think everyone here has already seen it already being leaked on Imgur and various other websites, so I think that's not really a surprise. Yet again, I can't show it, I can't really talk about it too much, but I think it's already been out there enough where people are not surprised by that, so... So yes, there's going to be new Darklight. Question 29.
It says, what is the status of the marriage system? Its answer, we'd like to implement this as soon as possible in a way you can invite a lot of people.
Rabble, 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 rabble. That was my impression of the forums on that topic. Question 30. Is there any new info you can give on the relic weapon appearance, or rare weapon appearance? So I'm not quite sure what the whole rare weapon appearance thing is. I think it's kind of like a vanity system for weapons, kind of like with the gear. So basically it says, after discussing the matter internally, we came to a conclusion that we are not ready to implement this system because of the various unique looking weapons we have in the game. The basic idea behind this system is that players will be able to change the appearance of their weapon to something unique. It's strictly a visual thing, and it won't have any impact on the stats. So basically it's a vanity system, kind of like with the gear, but for your weapon instead. Alright, so question 31.
In addition to Primal Battles, will you also be implementing hard mode for instance dungeons? And he said yes, we will.
Hallelujah! 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 So for people that were bitching about they were too easy face roll, I don't know how much easier they're going to be now, but you definitely can expect they're a step up. I heard even rumors are going to be randomized, possibly with enemies being in different locations, along with possibly the treasure coffers being mixed around as well. Not too sure on how different that's going to be, but you can be safely assured that there's going to be a hard mode dungeon for them. Is there going to be an extreme version where like they spank your ass back to like the starting point? I don't know, but that would be pretty hilarious. So I'm excited to see how that's going to turn out. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of lulz in those instances. Question 32. And it says, there are a number of primal battles in A Realm Reborn, but will there be Morbol's Wrath of kind of primal battle? It says, well, we've implemented a high-level Morbol fate, so please try and find it. Question 33. That's true, we did actually do that one. It was Foxclaw we were fighting. Alright, question 33.
It says, show us the ul'dah and Gridania housing areas. And he said, we should be able to show you this in the next letter from the producer live.
Rabble, 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 rabble.
Rabble, 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 rabble.
Question 34. Are there any surprise announcements you are hiding and planning to mention right before launch? He goes, I'm pretty sure we said quite a lot today. More rabble, 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 rabble.
Rabble, rabble, rabble.
Question 35.
Will the free company housing be in the area of the grand company we belong to?
Oh, Galu likes this one.
There are no real restrictions.
I knew the answer before.
Huh?
Yeah, because we were like, we had a poll on our website, because most of us are from the Twin Adder, but another half of us like the Maelstrom, so we were like, well, if we pick Twin Adder as our free company, is it okay if we stay in a different region?
Oh.
And basically it's okay, so people don't have to worry about fighting and ripping each other's throats out over that. Question 36.
Killed so many already.
You hit your quota for death, Scholar. Question 36.
Tonight.
What's the status of the treasure map idea? Now, the treasure map idea was brought up for gatherers. They find a treasure map while gathering, and then when they use the treasure map after finding it, they can locate special treasures. So he says, being able to play this content is not very far away. We're planning on fleshing out the system for a Beastman tribe related to treasure maps. Now, I know I'm pretty well versed in the beastmen in this game, but Gala, do you know of any beastmen that actually match up with treasure maps besides maybe goblins or something? Or Keekern?
Yeah, Crims.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing too, but
because they steal stuff.
yeah, that's a good point. I think so too. So either
Maybe it's brigands, but
well, they're not
beastmen.
beastmen. Yeah, I think either goblins or Keekern would be a good point, unless there's a new beastman I don't know about. But so that'd be kind of cool. So that's content for gatherers that we're worried about there not being too much gathering content. So there's something right there. Question 37.
Will housing areas be implemented in Korthos and Ishgard in the future? It says after implementing the housing area in the initial 3 regions, we will add housing areas to other regions if we receive enough requests.
Dude, I don't know. What do you think, Gala?
Hopefully.
What do you think?
Hopefully.
Someday. Think we should move over there? I don't know, man. Be right next to Ishgard. It'd be pretty awesome. We got a behemoth as our freaking dog outside. It'll be guarding it. We get the doghouse. We'll call him.
We'll call him. Gonna be the watchdog, son. He's gonna be the master.
We'll call him Butch. We'll just stick him on front with like a chain around his neck. Like, all right, we'll get like a pet behemoth. That'd be great, or like a minion. We'll stick our minion out front. All right, where we leave at? Question 38. Will you be able to have your minions run loose in your house or set them up as furniture? And Yoshi P answers by saying, I think it would be possible, so I will let the lead know. And we mentioned that earlier. Question 39.
When we change our Grand Company, we are unable to equip any of our previous Grand Company gear. Could you let us convert our previous gear into seals? And he said, we would like our players to choose their Grand Company based on their playstyle. This also means that we assume players may go back to their original Grand Company at some point. Therefore, we currently have no plans to implement a trade in the future.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Okay, so we were coming up close to the end here. We have question 40 we're starting with on the final page. When randomly choosing content through the Duty Finder, you said that the rewards will become significantly better. But exactly what kind of rewards get better? And he answers by saying, the percentage of tokens you can obtain will increase. We've decided to implement this once we add a bit more of level 50 dungeons. So, that is very interesting. I've seen some forums discussing that. Any thoughts on that, or side comments?
Just about the tokens is then Yoshi said that no matter if you don't beat the dungeon, you're gonna get tokens.
Oh.
So I'm wondering how that works for Bahamut and Crystal Tower, if those are considered.
Yeah, my problem is that it's like you're not given any incentive to improve.
Maybe now, it's a big maybe, but maybe there is there a percentage on these? Like, is it 100% drop rate even if you like fail?
Don't think so. Maybe they're like Inferno totems.
Now here's another thing I like to throw out. What if there's a huge like cap for like how many tokens you need? So even if you fail and get one, you need like 100 to win, and you get like 1 or 2 for like every attempt or something. So if you win and you're successful, maybe you get like 5 or 10. So you're like, oh my god, I want to, like, all these people around me are getting them so much faster. Maybe if I get better and improve, I'll get like as much as they do. Maybe that's like an incentive right there. So maybe it gives you a little bit so you're not going to rage quit like people did in the 1.0 with Garuda, or not Garuda, with Ifrit or Good King Mogglmog when they introduced the totems from Garuda. But I think it's if they do a minimal amount where you get something and you feel like continuing to do so, but they also give a huge incentive to be better and improve yourself while getting a huger number of tokens up to like a whatever cap they place it at. Maybe that's an incentive right there, so it covers all their bases. I think that would work out fairly well. What do you guys think?
That sounds pretty good. I'll see what you're saying.
I gotta see more of it to see how it actually works, because I'm kind of like shooting from the hip here, blindfolded. Yeah. I'm not quite sure on how it works, but they said it's not going to be available yet. They're going to wait until there's more level 50 dungeons, so people don't have to worry about that yet just right now. So you cannot get those at Darklight for launch, but in the future, it sounds like they're going to throw those in eventually.
Now, I wonder if the tokens you get for Melod Gear are going to be the same tokens you can get for Darklight.
That is another good point. I do not know, but that is an excellent question, which...
Because I know you're gonna have a few tokens that we are not gonna use. They're gonna be there.
Right. Anyway, moving on to our next question is question 41.
I heard that you can reallocate your attribute points, but will this be something you can do easily multiple times? The answer is, it won't be something you can do easily. For example, it's not like you will be able to allocate them today. You can challenge the Great Labyrinth of Bahamut, the Scholar, and tomorrow allocate them so you can go as Summoner.
Question 42. Could you show us some in-game footage of PvP? And that's basically where we showed off the Coliseum area we were talking about earlier, around the Veteran Ward section. Question 43 says, though, could you provide us with more information on when we'll be able to develop add-ons and when official add-ons will be released? And they answer by saying, we just started working on an environment that players can use to create add-ons. Therefore, we should be able to provide an update around 8 months after launch. Now, I want to make a tiny little tweak right there. I'm not sure if that's a miscommunication, but I remember on Reinhardt's thread it said 6 months. And I remember before the live letter, they were always saying it's 6 months after launch. So I would say about 6 to 8 months on as a guesstimate. I would go that far to say. So 6 to 8 months after launch is looking like when they're going to have that ready. Alright, question 44.
When coming back for Realm Reborn, I heard there would be a Welcome Back campaign. But could you tell us the time period and other details for this? It says, those of you who played Final Fantasy XIV 1.0 will be able to play Realm Reborn free until September 9, 2015.
Awesome. And to wrap it up for the video with question 45, are there any plans to implement an item that can be used to change the appearance of our characters? And this is where we go into the veteran section with the incentives. And he answers by saying, before I answer that question, let me tell you about a discussion that happened during one of our shareholder meetings. One of the shareholders asked me, are there any rewards for playing the game for a long period? The following was my answer to that question. The feature you are referring to is called the Veteran Reward System. Players will receive rewards based on the accumulated subscription period. While there are many subscription plans in A Realm Reborn, players will receive rewards for every 30 days of subscription. Reward for subscribing 30 days is, obviously, just to recap from what we said earlier, for 30-day subscription you get the Wind-Up Cursor minion and the Phial of Fantasia, which you use to change the appearance of your character. For 60 days, Cascadeur Uniform Voucher, which is the black heat-resistant swimwear for your characters, along with a black Chocobo Chick minion. And then 90 days, you get the BDI Ahriman minion, and the Void Scent Resonator, which is the Ahriman mount that you get. So 2 Ahriman items right there for 90-day subscription. He also says, furthermore, the unique feature about the system is that players will receive the reward immediately upon subscribing for more than 30 days. For example, if a player subscribes for 90 days, they will immediately receive the rewards for subscribing 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days. Please note that there will continue to be implemented additional rewards for 120 days and 180 days, etc., via future patches. Alright, so I think that is going to end this video for the Final Fantasy XIV Letter from the Producer Live, Part 8. Any closing thoughts, any opinions, or things you guys like to mention before we wrap this one up?
Get out there and play.
Galu, what about you? You got anything you'd like to share with the viewers?
Not really.
Galu for us, everybody. Our Link Show leader. Give him a round of applause. Woo! All right.
Now kneel before me and kiss my ring.
Oh God, he's
I'm serious.
He's just kidding, guys. Don't you mind him?
Yeah.
He's such a kidder. All right, so this is gonna wrap up this video. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you survived this long into the video. Hopefully it hasn't been too long. I think it's going over quite a bit of time. But thanks for tuning in. Hope you found this entertaining and informative. And tune in next time where we discuss more exciting Final Fantasy XIV news. See you then.
Well, you know,
bye.
we're going to be playing Final Fantasy XIV. We'll see you.